Well, let's see. The mob is ripped off, probably not the best idea for somebody, so a professional is hired to get to the bottom of it. Hello there, everyone. As always, for RealScreenReviews.com, I am movie critic Nick Iacobucci, and our next movie review is Killing Them Softly. Killing Them Softly stars the on-screen talents of Brad Pitt, Ray Liotta, James Gandolfini, Richard Jenkins, and comes to us from director Andrew Dominique, not Dominic, the man that has previously collaborated with Brad Pitt on the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford from back in 2007. He again reteams with the star of that film to bring to life this crime dramedy, and it can't be any worse than their last outing together. I'm sorry, I like both of these guys, but I couldn't help but feel that that Jesse James movie was just excruciatingly long in a whole bunch of spots. Now, this tale tells the story of Jackie, a professional enforcer that is sent in to unravel the mystery of what happened to an exclusive poker game for high rollers that was being protected by the mob. It seems that not only is money missing, but the reputation of these wise guys is also in jeopardy, because in that world, your reputation is even more important than money. Because of this ugly situation, the mob turns to a surefire enforcer whose only reputation is getting the job done. Well, people, having seen Killing Them Softly immediately after seeing the movie Lawless, and the fact that they are both heavy-duty crime thrillers, it was very difficult not to weigh them against one another. Now, just a funny fact is the writer of Lawless wrote the musical score for Andrew Dominique's last feature, Jesse James, and that being said, I believe that Dominique has trimmed the fat that was left on by Lawless and crafted a much tighter, much shorter, and more thrilling tale of suspense. Andrew Dominique once again pulls double duty on the jobs of writing and directing, and combines the two in a much better combination than the previous Jesse James. Dominique's script here is laden with both humor and intelligence, and lays homage to other hitman films the likes of Pulp Fiction. His direction paces this film quickly and without anchoring it in the melodrama of the people on screen. I must also credit his abandonment of comparing it to lavish gangster films the likes of Goodfellas and Bugsy, and instead gives us a contemporary reinvention of scumbags that just get better with each moment. Finally, his visual style is nothing short of top-notch, and it is so rich and so fulfilling that without question it makes up for any shortcomings that come in the story. Brad Pitt does again what he has done his entire career, and that's to prove to everyone that he is so much more than a pretty face. His Jackie is anything but a simple character, starting with the fact that he professionally kills people, but he doesn't like to hurt people. You know, why waste your time beating somebody up or making the hit in your face when you can, as the movie suggests, kill them softly? Pitt's performance is both subtle and nuanced, and seems to achieve likability through comedy and his sense of compassion. The funny thing is, through all of his restraint, you can always still tell that there's this underlying violence to him, even though it's usually hidden from sight. And I can't put it into any more of the simplest of terms than to say Brad Pitt is just freaking cool as hell in this film. Now, Killing Them Softly also boasts a slew of on-screen talent that fills up the supporting players. Starting with the man that, in my opinion, never gives a dull performance is the wonderful Richard Jenkins. He whines to excess about following orders, and usually these complaints are just funny in his delivery. Someone else that will also have you laughing is Tony Soprano himself, James Gandolfini. He also shows up and brings humor to his contradictory character as well. You gotta love a man whose favorite hobby, by his own admission, is going to bed with prostitutes, and then has the gall to complain about the status of his marriage. Now, rounding out the cast, you have the almost always credible Ray Liotta and Vincent Curatola, and finally, I think that Ben Mendelsohn and Scoot McNairy must have taken a page from the Vincent Vega and Jules Winfield playbook with their intelligent and entertaining banter. Once again, for me, this was really the opposite of Lawless, because when I sat down to tally up my notes or began to really think about Killing Them Softly, I really didn't have very much to complain about, if anything at all. On top of the exquisite dialogue and the solid performances, the movie is covered with the underlying message of financial recession and how that affects everyone, including the underworld. We are constantly reminded of America's lackluster economy and how the corporate dogs of the financial world extend far into organized crime. The film also goes on and on with the backdrop of now President Barack Obama's promises of a better tomorrow, and how even criminals need a financial break from time to time. At 1 hour and 37 minutes, Killing Them Softly could have easily been 15 to 20 minutes longer, and I wouldn't have complained in the least. This film, just like the lead character, is super cool, and its style and boldness couldn't be more evident. The bloody violence that fills this movie is a straight compliment to its characters, and the lines that they speak elevate this entire project into the realm of greatness. With its modern setting and its constant throwbacks to other past decades, this really made me think of the brilliant Drive from just last year. But I must stress, however, that this is not a copy of that film because it is just as original and just as worthy. Nick's Real Screen Review is a perfect 4 stars out of 4, and that's for Brad Pitt in the highly entertaining Killing Them Softly. And remember, people, I'm not always right, but only when it comes to the movies, and thank you for your attention.